In today's video, I'm giving you a full guide on how you can build a fully competitive Deathguard army list with all the recent changes and everything you need to know about how Deathguard are performing in the current year of March 2024 and how they're going to continue going and how you can build a proper competitive list based off the resources and general strength that Deathguard propose now in the current meta, like I said, in March of 2024. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I absolutely love Deathguard. I think they're an awesome army. They're probably one of my favorite Chaos armies. I just really wanted to dive in depth for how you can build a proper competitive list because these guys are very kind of mixed in terms of how you play them. There's a lot of different ways you can kind of manipulate their units, but I do believe there's a very specific way you should use a certain unit to access the best kind of resources Deathguard have to offer in terms of just, being a good actual army. And with their recent buffs and actually going from like 36% win rate to like I think it's like 54 or 52% win rate, we're actually seeing Deathguard do decently well. Oh, no, it's not 56, it's more like 48. But the point is, they're actually doing decently well. So I wanted to show you how you can build a proper competitive list and how you can kind of implement the strengths and even some weaknesses of Deathguard to give you the best kind of army to generally play into and play Deathguard the way you want to play it, but also to play Deathguard in a way that's not going to make you wiped in Battle Round 3. So, without further ado, let's just jump straight into it with how exactly you can build a competitive Deathguard army list in 10th edition. Now, how are we going to orientate ourselves to building a competitive Deathguard army list and use all the strength that Deathguard offers to counter any weaknesses they may propose inside a competitive matchup in 40k? Now, Deathguard right now are an elite, melee-focused army that are very slow, very tough, and work with auras better than any other army, and whose army rule allows for a -1 toughness aura that grows per game. Battle round 3, battle round 1 is 3 inches, battle round 3 is 6 inches, and battle round 4 up is 9 inches. This sets Deathguard up for a perfect heavy-hitting melee army, as it orientates themselves with their already high strength, high damage melee, and weakens the enemy even more, allowing them to get more attacks in and just generally do well. These are not the death by 1,000 cuts melee army like Tyranids or Orcs to a certain extent are. These guys are, we will end your life with one swing of our Man Reapers. These guys will do a lot of damage to you if you're not careful, so you've got to keep understanding that you do not really have to worry about doing lots of damage, as things like the Death Shroud Terminators, especially with the Lord of Contagion, or even things like that Blight Force Terminators and regular Plague Marines, are going to be hitting the enemy hard, and this -1 toughness aura just bumps it up even more. As for the attachment rule, it works as giving basically a natural sticky objective to the entire army, so you don't have to worry about taking things like the Plague Bearers and wasting points on them. You can just focus solely on the idea of sticky objectives, and it also gives a bunch of buffs because of the containment aura. Things like -1 to battle shock, and I think a +1 hit roll for certain enemies. I'm not too sure, I haven't read up on it too much, but it is very effective, and the containment range of the objective markers you put it on, which grows per like the regular army rule, is very effective at dealing with enemies that might be up on the board and you can't reach, or just generally getting buffs from being on the objective markers and holding primary, which is what these guys want to do, similar to most melee armies in the game. Now, as for the big winners inside of Deathguard, and talking to people, looking at some tournament results, and generally doing some research on Deathguard, I found, guys, these are the biggest winners inside of Deathguard that you're going to be wanting to include in your competitive army list. The first one's going to be Death Shroud Terminators. The Death Shroud Terminators are going to be the most elite, amazing, just generally awesome damage-dealing unit in your army. They're going to give the most valuable resources in the game and allow you to take things like Lord of Contagion and Typhus without maybe like having the fear of them dying or being assassinated, as they're going to be with quite a long strong. You're going to be taking 2, maybe even 3 6-man squads of these guys. They are expensive, but they are worth every single point, as they give so much value in terms of their ability just to do tons of elite damage and give out just a lot of damage. And they overpower the Blight Force Terminators so much, even though the Blight Force Terminators are more expensive. They just offer so much more damage with the deep strike potential. It's amazing, and I generally think these guys are a fantastic kind of infantry-based unit to include in your army. The next one's going to be the Plague Burst Cooler. And the Plague Burst Cooler is interesting because it's what allows you to include anti-tank in Deathguard. You see, Deathguard don't only have much range anti-tank. They have a lot of melee anti-tank, but anti-tank's obviously more range. So the Plague Burst Core allows for an indirect, I think, -1 to hit. It's got a little bit to do with firing into infantry, which is its ability, and it just allows for a nice backfield screen as you have indirect on it. It's got a very far range, and it gives us nice anti-tank. You can just throw at the enemy and have some nice like overhead fire come down for things like your Plague Marines or your Death Shroud Terminators, just to help basically take down enemy. And the last one's going to be Plague Marines plus Rhino. This combo is incredible. Plague Marines are already amazing in Deathguard. They have been decreased in points. They're an awesome unit. I think they have 2 OC. I wouldn't be sure on that. But their general ability to take out that -1 to battle shock with their ability, and their eliteness of only being able to take 5, super taking 2-mans, allows for this nice push with the Rhinos, getting you fast movement on the objective marker, and then having natural sticky objectives is fantastic, meaning you can get up the board, hold the midfield, and generally do some good midfield damage inside of the game. But that's going to be generally what you're looking for in a competitive Deathguard list. You're going to be looking for these hard-hitting, like really durable melee units that are going to be able to help support this kind of cause of holding the midfield and scoring primary really, really well. So now I'm going to show you a list that I designed of Deathguard and how I think you should play Deathguard in a competitive manner. But these are my theories and these are my beliefs, so if you have something wrong, please leave me in the comments. But this is going to be my full competitive Deathguard army list. Now I'm going to explain to you my theory list, a list that I've come up with in terms of after doing a bunch of research on Deathguard and coming up with this conclusion list that's going to allow me to play competitive in the way I want to play, and a way that I think is a very effective way at winning if you're looking at just copy and pasting a nice competitive list and going in there by foot. But this is how I would want to play Deathguard if I want to, but it's also a nice competitive list I've devised in terms of doing bunches of research in terms of Deathguard. So let's jump straight into it with every single unit I've explained. So, as my characters, the first one I've got is Typhus. Now, Typhus is going to be going on one of the 6-man Death Shroud Terminator squads because it gives them a -1 to hit roll, allowing Death Shroud Terminators to hit on 2s, which makes their purpose of being a massive, just like, we will end you with our Man Reaper squads, even more we will end you with our Man Reaper squads. It gives them just so much more killing potential, allowing for this elite squad of 6 to deep strike back in and just go for it. It also allows me to take Typhus in the first place because he's got an amazing attacking profile, and he does offer a psycho ability which allows him to obviously do a certain amount of wounds if you roll the right dice in a certain range, which is like the average psycho ability, which is like, I think it's like D4 damage, and like roll a D6 on a 4 up, you get like 3 more wounds. I don't remember, but the point is, it's very effective and it can be very, very good. Typhus is awesome. Allows me for a nice deep striking unit for my very first Death Shroud Terminator squad. Next one's going to be the 2 Biologus Putrifiers. These guys are going to be going both on the 2 10-man Plague Marine squads for the only reason as he gives them the lethal hits ability, and he allows for them to throw a grenade stratagem for free even if you've done it before. Meaning I can throw 2 free grenade stratagems in the game, along with one I might spend for CP. So, if I choose to, I really want to grenade something down and go full ham on it, I can throw a bunch of grenades down it and go ham. Along with 2 rhinos that are going to be going in, this offers a nice fast moving unit and gives more chance of me holding down the midfield, along with the sticky objectives and -1 toughness aura they're going to give. And being the Plague Burst Marines already enough killy as it is, giving lethal hits to them is fantastic. And he also makes them hit on 5 instead of 6s, so lethal hits are 5s, not 6s. Even better, fantastic, makes this melee unit almost as good as the Blight Force Terminators in terms of like points cost plus damage. It kind of evens out, and it's fantastic. I love these guys. I think they're awesome. If I was to build a Deathguard list, I would definitely take even 3 potentially if I really wanted to go here. Now, next one's going to be Lord of Contagion. Lord of Contagion is going on the 2nd Death Shroud Terminator squad, simply because he gives them the full hit reroll and allows to be an even more killy unit. Along with Typhus, the reason I take him is because he's just amazing. He brings in a more killy side of Death Shroud Terminators. He makes them give him a full hit reroll, meaning I'm going to be hitting on 3s with a full hit reroll, allowing for so many more attacks to go through, and his elite units to start carving through enemies. So while my Plague Burst Marines are moving up on the midfield, having sticky objectives, doing all the OC stuff, these guys are deep striking in the backfields and just pushing up and doing tons of damage to all the elite units, or just moving up with the rhinos, which probably won't happen, but generally deep striking in and doing a bunch of damage. Now, I've already explained the Plague Marines. They're awesome. OC count, nice killer unit. It just brings so much value to the general board, and a 10-man just gives so much more board control in terms of being an elite piece unit. So awesome. Deathguard Terminators, simple purpose is to be a killer unit and just do a bunch of killing and just access so much more abilities in terms of me tearing through units like Dreadnoughts, Wraith Knights, and just having the nice anti-tank melee focus of Deathguard. And one 10-man squad of Poxwalkers, simply because I like to have that kind of spareable unit along with the Nurglings, just to be able to throw in there, do a couple of things, and then die if they have to, which they probably will. And then it's going to be 3 Plague-ridden Crawlers. Like I explained before, these guys are an amazing long-range anti-tank with lethal hits, indirect fire, and blast. It's fantastic. I love them. I'm taking 3 of them because they're just going to be allowed for so much supporting fire for my midfield just to push up and do tons of things. And just generally be an effective unit. The Rhinos, simple, whole purpose is just to take the Plague Marines up and do that. If they die from them, bring it down. I don't care. Bring it down. Doesn't matter to me. I just want them up there. And 3 Nurglings for a deep strike, infiltrator, side mission, whatever they want to do is blood. But that's going to be my entire theory list. If you enjoyed this kind of more unedited video where I just talk, give you information, and don't really care about these fun little spasm edits, I just show you the information and give it to you straight like I've done for the last 2 videos. Tell me in the comments. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. I'm going to put a poll on my YouTube community, so please go vote there. If you do like editing, put yes. If you don't like editing, say no. But that's going to be my entire video for today. Remember, go vote on the poll if you like editing or not, and I'll catch you in the next one.